I know.
Well, that says it all. That's where we are. Come on, Vic. Right, chickies it is.
Hello.
Hello.
You guys looking to do a tour?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, so my 1 o'clock is full, but we'll do it.
That point, start dancing. Oh, I know. I'm a little disappointed in this place. It should be that summer. Well, I don't know why. The sunglasses on my head. I'm sure I can get that problem. Cold it was going to be down there because it's so cold up here, so I'm like, let me layer. That's what I thought, so it's going to be cool. So. And the guy on the car thought, oh, it's cold up here, so I'm going to put the coat on.
Yeah. Where are you from?
England.
Is that where you live now?
Yeah. Born and brought up in England.
You are a little way from home.
A little bit. A little way from home, yeah. But I must admit, it's a country we've always wanted to see, and we're loving every minute of it.
Oh, is the scenery not amazing? We're from Oklahoma.
From Texas.
Okay, so yeah, it's
I'm filming from inside because it's raining.
Oh, definitely rather photo.
We shouldn't be wet on the ground.
No, but you've got to get out there, haven't you? Might as well take me,
yes, yes.
Well, at least we won't be the only ones lost.
There's sunshine coming back.
That's it, wasn't it sunshine?
Devil
Devil's
whooping
whooping
his
his
wife.
wife, yeah. Whooping his wife.
Devil's whooping his wife.
You eat that? Yeah.
Sunshine and rain at the same time. That's what an old saying is.
Don't know whether it'd be too much altitude. We don't have this altitude back in England, you see. Well, we're going to try it probably.
Cage or a skip. We actually have two of them, and we're going to use them both. How are you guys all grouped together here? So
Us
four, and then one there, and then two and two.
And then
Okay. So for now, we'll put everybody over here. You five on the top cage, and you four on the bottom cage. Now the ride down takes about 2 minutes. Now, that might seem kind of fast. It's actually slower than a normal elevator. It's only about 5 miles an hour. Once you get down there, there'll be a lot of light and a lot of room, so there's no need for any closed-in fillings or anything like that. Now the guides that we use here are experienced in hard rock mining, and they understand the history of the district. So if you have any questions, just be sure and ask them. They'll answer them for you. And most of these women in this case work for us just 6 months out of the year. They don't make near the money they would if they're mining, so they do appreciate tips. Now if you guys can see the city of Cripple Creek down there, that's 400 feet below where we are right now. So that means you're going to go another 600 feet below the level of the town when you reach the bottom. You just want to make sure you don't stick your fingers out those little holes in it.
don't have to worry about that.
So your guide is going to be Alicia. She's down on a tour right now. She'll be up here in just a minute. She's a third-generation miner. She grew up in the area. She was on that TV show Prospectors on the Weather Channel a couple years ago, so she gives a really good tour. She's a lot of fun. So it'll be about 2 more minutes for you guys to get up, and then we'll let them off, and we're going to start with the top cage first.
Thank you.
Yep.
As well as no butt.
Okay, sorry, I'll open this up, right?
You guys are free to go, so this is how I keep track of you guys. That means you made it out of my mind today. That's a good thing. Yeah. Well, you know, back then they would do grass in, grass out. So you had a board with all your grass on it. My kitty's in there. That's my middle one. I sold you guys your
They would put 9 minors in.
Okay, well, you call your son.
You guys are going
I'll see
And there's yours, guys. We just need to save a little room for Alicia. She's grabbing some gum and she'll be right back over here.
No way. 9 people.
9 people.
Leave a bit of room for Alicia.
Must be regular sized people.
Well, you know,
Right.
those
No
miners
offense.
were very fit, you know.
Yeah, there's but would be. Yeah. No, like, no,
We
I
can get
mean.
9 of you guys in there pretty easy.
Thanks.
It'd be like-
no.
It'd be like sardines.
You ready? There you go.
We're off, guys.
That'd be great.
It'll get better once we get out of We're below Cripple Creek now. Just a little bit of turbulence. Yeah, we'll be
We're used to that then.
You'll be flying to London.
It'll be a splash.
Oh, good.
So we're real close now, but you can't see all the way down there.
Well, I'm okay. I can't feed him because he's in Cincinnati.
All right, here we are, guys. This is as far as they're taking us now. All right, so you guys will just step that way. We'll get everybody else down here. So watch your step, though.
Oh.
All right, watch your step.
Watch that.
Just that's an experience. What do you mean? That's a fun one.
That's just that little bit of cable.
All right, well, you guys all made it 1,000 feet down here. If you follow me, we'll start our tour.
Watch the track, huh? No.
I am.
Way behind.
Too bad he wasn't rigged to grab you. Right? All right, welcome to the Mollie Kathleen. I'm Leash, and we started producing gold in this mine in 1891. We did that until 1961, which is pretty much when mining went out in this whole area, at least for a while. But back then in this 24 square mile area, there were 500 active mines here, and there were 50,000 people here at one time.
Wow.
And, well, that's because the wage here was double what it was anywhere else. Yeah, so think of the mix of people we had back then. Yeah. So I get to take you guys through some progression of mining. The first thing we do is drill out a blast pattern. That's going to be 9 to 23 holes, and this is how we start. So this is called single jacking. You have a bull steel and a 4-pound hammer. From this, you do go all the way up to a 6-foot drill steel, and all that means is when you blast, it's going to take you 6 feet back into that rock. So you're going to find a crack, a crevice, a weakness in the rock, and that's how you start that hole. This is where it gets fun though, because once you get into the longer drill steels, you do double jacking. That means you've got your striker up here with his hammer.
Yeah,
That's your shaker down there, and what he does is he just turns that drill steel in between each hit so it doesn't get stuck. But this has nothing to do with trust, because if you ever hit him, you get to take a quick break, and when you come back, you switch places. So what goes around comes around. Now, it would take them about 2 8-hour shifts just to make 6 feet of progress this way, and they worked in a lot smaller space than this. This was made big for the tour. Average tunnel size for them was only 3 feet wide by 5 feet tall. Yeah, so very limited space. And it gets a little tougher because this was all done by candlelight.
Oh my goodness.
Boy, they can stand in under shade.
Well, wait a minute, it gets even better than this. Because each one of these miners got 3 candles per shift, and of course we all know candles eat a lot of oxygen. So to conserve that oxygen, they would start this hole and then blow out those candles and do it in complete darkness.
Oh.
Yeah, are you guys ready for that?
No.
Easy.
That's amazing.
Total muscle memory, that's all it is, yeah. Your body is pretty amazing. But from your candles, these were pretty common. This is a carbide lamp. So you've got calcium carbide here, water here, and a drip system in the middle. So when that combines, it creates acetylene gas. The problem with that is that means it can be explosive.
Oh.
So imagine a smaller version of this on your head. They called those hard-boiled hats for very good reason. Yeah. This is what they look like, and if those miners would bend over and catch a downdraft, they could cause an explosion on their head. It wasn't enough to kill them. My grandpa always said it was just enough to knock a little sense into them. Now, of course, today we have it a lot better. This is an LED light. On one charge, this will last you about 3 days. It doesn't blow up and it doesn't eat your oxygen. So great improvement all the way around. So the next thing we do is we load dynamite in all the holes we drilled out. When we blast, all that debris that gets kicked out of there, that's your muck. So up here, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. Be careful with
We
yourself.
can use a shovel. Everybody in.
So this is what your mucker's gonna look like. Now he's also called the tenderfoot because he's the newbie in the mine. Yeah, so you know he's got the toughest job down here. He got a shovel like that, and he had to fill 2 to 2.5 of those ore cars per hour. That is 2.5 ton, and if he didn't meet that quota, he was fired on the spot.
Dig it with
You just find your own way out of here then.
You just break it off with your hands into the shovel.
Well, you know, the cool thing is you can control where that blast is gonna land. So they would use a muck plate, that's that sheet of metal back there. So that actually gives you a hard surface to shovel. Yeah.
That's what.
So-
Digging a hole of gravel is tough.
Oh, yeah, even with a pointed
Yeah.
shovel. Yeah.
I see that over here.
So this is just normal drip, huh?
Yeah, water filters through all the time. This is all probably like rain from like 3 or 4 days ago. It takes it a while to get down here.
All right.
So from this point on, everything you guys see used to run on steam, but it does run on air today, and the compressor that supplies that air is up in the hoist house. So this here is the Imco 12 feet, or the air mucker. Now you can fill those ore cars in seconds, so great improvement. But it's going to be kind of loud, but I'm going to show you guys how it works real quick.
Could be all right.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Lots better than that.
That's better than shovel, isn't it? Yeah.
They must have double the time then.
Yeah. You put that shovel with a smile on his face.
So you guys are very safe down here. I've actually been in these mines since I was big enough to walk. That's because my grandpa raised me here, and he worked in these mines from the time he was 6 years old. So I guarantee you guys are gonna last an hour down here. But also, you're not gonna see anything holding these rocks back through the whole mine, because we're a hard rock mine, and if you have a collapse down here, it just means you didn't do your job. Now, we don't get explosive gases down here, we get carbon dioxide. That means you have no oxygen, and that happens in the winter time. We do still check the air in the morning and monitor it all day long, so you guys don't have to worry about that. And the air you guys feel coming through here is fresh air from the surface, so that makes us a vertical updraft mine, and that happened by accident. All that happened is we cut into the Gold King mine, and as soon as that happened, that shaft we came down started pulling fresh air from the surface, and that mine through both of our mines all the time. So, great accident, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now you will see two different tunnels down here. A crosscut has no gold in it, that just gets you into the mine and to the gold. A drift does have a gold vein in it, so you've hit a gold vein and now you're chasing it wherever it takes you. So that's what we're going down now, is the Julian Davis drift. So keep in mind that you guys won't see nuggets down here. I know those great shows make you think
Oh,
they're
yeah.
Doesn't really work like that. Surface gold is only about 1% of the gold found in the world. So the way it works in most places is it does come out as gold ore. So the gold that's in these rocks is microscopic and not even that gold color. Yeah, so back then, the way they would process it out is mill it and smelt it. That means they would crush it up to a really fine powder, put some chemicals on that. One of the main ones is flux. Now that's crushed up glass, and then you heat all that up to 1800 degrees. At that temperature, everything except for the gold comes up and gets stuck in the chemicals, and the gold hangs down on the bottom. But that temperature also turns it the gold color. So when it cools off, you just break that glass off and you've got your gold. Lots different than most people think. Yeah. Now it's kind of a gray, metal gray color.
That was my question.
Yeah.
And the flux does what? It helps
It's a-
separate it, or?
It pretty much, yeah, because think about it, when that glass melts, everything else does come up and get stuck in that. And then the glass just kind of hangs onto it, but it doesn't get absorbed. Or the gold doesn't get absorbed into the glass, yeah.
Okay.
So all of that, if you've ever heard slag, that's
Yes.
what they're talking about, is that, yep.
Oh, okay. Why is the slag glass in different colors? That you see, you know, the rock shops, the slag glass.
Because they're
it's
gonna
all
use different
colors.
colored glass to process that. Because really, all you need is for that to adhere to all of those other impurities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier to be clear though? Clear glass?
Maybe they're recycling it though.
There you go.
Because think about it,
For
it would
bottles
make
and
more
stuff?
sense, exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's alive or it's crystals or something. Probably crystals. It's pretty.
It is interesting. I noticed that.
I thought it was just mold.
green one, I couldn't tell if it was, alive or if it's crystal.
The green back there that you saw, that water comes through there all the time, so that's like algae, like you get in a pond.
Oh, right, from the
But
lights.
the green that you're seeing right here is a gold indicator, so that means there's copper under there, and copper goes along with the gold here.
And the white is just quartz.
No, that white is magnesium sulfate. You guys know it is Epsom salt.
Yes.
Oh.
So that water that comes through all the time, that pushes that out of the rocks and makes it form.
Does somebody,
That's why all this.
somebody sell this as well?
No,
do they
not here.
Really?
No.
Just not
Do they
probable.
separate the copper at the same time that they're doing the separation of the gold, or
Only thing they've ever gone after here is gold,
just gold?
even today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's workable.
I know, it's all about that greed.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So now we're able to get those holes drilled out a lot quicker. This is the liner column drill. You're still going to have 2 guys at this station, but you can drill those holes in 5 or 6 minutes apiece. The problem with these drills is they were all dry drills, so they did create a lot of dust. Those miners would breathe that in, and that caused silicosis of the lungs. On average, they'd only live to be about 30 years old because of that. But this is how they fixed it. This is the jack tank. So it shoots, it's just pressurized water. It shoots water down that drill steel, cools it off, and makes it last longer. More importantly, though, it killed that dust. Yeah, so now that silicosis wasn't such an issue. And of course, this one's loud too, but I'm going to show you how it works. Kind of like a jackhammer.
What do you do in the mine? You're a miner too?
I am. I don't look for gold. Your main indicator once you get underground here is called fluorite. So I still chase that, but I'm pulling stuff out nobody's ever seen before. So about 3 summers ago, that girl that sold you guys your tickets and that kid that loaded you, those are my kids.
Oh, right.
They were mining with me and my brother. We found one of the rarest crystals in the world. Actually, that girl that sold you your tickets is the one that discovered them.
Wow.
And they are so rare that the Smithsonian came to see us and get some of those samples.
Oh,
So-
What's it called? Do they named it?
They are a pseudomorph crystal, but the correct term is fluorite on barite after lamentite. All that means is they went through 3 phases to become what they are
They
today.
should name it after you guys.
I know, because what we were going to do, since Cheyenne's the one that found them,
Uh-huh.
is we were going to name it Cheyennite.
Oh, that's
But
a nice name.
it's a big process. So all these crystals are, well, some of them are at the Colorado School of Mines. So that also tells you how rare they are.
Yeah.
They have some of those samples up there, but they broke them down and they told us everything that was in them. And to be able to name something like that is a huge process. Lots of red tape.
Yeah.
You know,
To
once
you,
again-
they're always shining, right?
yeah, they are. So this is what it looks like when you're ready to blast. Now this is an old school blast powder, and you're going to use either black powder or nitroglycerin dynamite, and you're going to have 4 to 6 sticks in each one of those holes. But the black powder will always be my favorite. That saves you time. You stay down here when you blast. Ideally, you're going to go down a tunnel like that and around the corner because most of it'll blow by you. Yes, real quick. But the concussion is so intense, it feels like you're getting your teeth knocked out from the inside out. And you got to sit down there with your mouth open a little bit because if you don't, it'll blow your eardrums out.
Wow.
Oh,
Are you guys ready to try that?
yeah, yeah.
It will be a lot of So this is how that works. But think about this. This pattern was figured out through trial and error. Yeah, think of the chaos they went through.
What would you like the first?
I'd have been all over that. But this is what they came up with. These 4 here, and that middle one are your 5-hole burn. That whole thing goes off first. Then your box goes off, your ribs, your header, your knee highs, and most importantly, those lifters down there, that's actually your control because they're drilled at a 45-degree angle, so it scoops that big pile up, slams it against that wall, and shoots it out there about 6 feet. So now you don't even have to go in that tiny space. Now that blast pattern you see around the corner, that one's bigger, but it's just because it's newer technology. It goes off in the same order. That one is set off with a non-electronic delay detonator though, and you only use a stick of dynamite about this big. That's your primer stick, and it's because you shoot a booster on top of it. So it's kind of crazy, but we still use that same pattern because it works so good. Now this is my favorite drill. This is the jack leg, and one person can run this because you've got this air leg here. That's your built-in helping hand. And you do start out with a 6-foot drill still. So think about it. When you start that hole, that's when you're going to get your butt kicked because that's bouncing off of that uneven surface now until you get that hole going.
In there.
Yeah. But with this, you can drill those holes in 2 or 3 minutes apiece. The really cool thing about this is they made this stuff to last. This design hasn't changed since 1930.
Really?
They make the same exact ones today, and we do still use them today. Yeah. Gardner Denver made this, and the one that I just showed you was made by Ingersoll Rand. Both of those companies are still in business today. Yeah. So, of course, this one's going to be loud too, but I'll show you how it works real quick. I just tell everybody it's like wrestling calves during branding season. It's like
Well, I haven't experienced that, but I kind of.
oh, that kicks your butt too, trust me. But you know one of the coolest things I've done, and that really kicks your butt, is we were tagging bighorn sheep for the Division of Wildlife.
Oh, wow.
What you do with them is you feed them in, and then you get them in like a canyon, and you've got a bunch of people that stand around, and you've got these giant nets that are weighted on the outside. So you throw that net over those sheep after you get them all in there, and you've got people holding the outside edges down. You're climbing over those sheep, tagging them as you're going.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot
an
of fun.
experience.
You'll get your butt kicked that way too. So what you guys get to hear now is a recording of a blast from a great distance. Now if this was real, it would be about 100 times louder than this, and we would be covered in dirt. But we would be sitting down there counting these, because if they don't all go off, now you got a live round in that wall. When that happens, you wait 45 minutes to an hour. If it still doesn't go off, you send that tenderfoot back in to check it out.
Of course.
Like he's got the good job.
He does. He has all the great jobs.
I would rather just
Oh yeah. All it is just a lot of intense pressure on your body. But that right there, that was only one speaker. That corner right over there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just said manufacturing artillery day.
It does.
Me too,
You know, I can hear now.
Paper making, you'll say, well, that's true.
Right?
Paper making.
Yeah. Don't you complain when you get back to work.
Oh, blessed.
So this right here is called a stope, and stope mining worked really good here because we have vertical gold veins, and that's because the gold was all put here through volcanic activity. So think about it, when it was molten lava, its only job was to find the quickest route up and out to cool off. And so when you're stope mining, you find that vein just below the surface, drop down underneath it, and mine straight up. When you do that, 95% of your work's being done by gravity. So So that's a beautiful thing. But your miner's still going to be on that board for his 8-hour shift. They issue them 5-gallon buckets in the morning. Those are honey buckets, and that's their bathroom all day. Yeah. And this is also, yeah, people think they got it tough today. But this is also where your slusher comes in. It's basically a shovel and a drag line, but this is actually how it's going to work inside. So think about this. Now that that blast pattern's above your head, that's where all that ore is going to drop when you blast. So the slusher just drags all the ore off the shelf, down the ore chute, right into the ore cars to get it out of here. Now these air trams are what they were using by 1930 to pull those ore cars in the miners through here, but everything comes down and goes back up the same way we did. These could come down in pieces, but before this they did use donkeys down here. Yeah, think of how much fun that was to get them down here. Since it was so hard, they just lived down here. Now they were very pampered, but they never saw daylight, so they did go blind, and the ones born down here were born blind. And yeah, that's why they ordered them out in 1930. But all they did with them was they just took them to the surface and turned them loose in the town. But that's not cruel. Now you got blind donkeys up there trying to figure it out.
I can see where that worked.
Yeah, not very good. But if you guys see donkeys while you're here, those are direct descendants of the ones that used to work down here.
Yeah, it was awesome as we came through.
Very friendly, huh?
Yeah.
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 The old ones never got their sight back, but as you could see, once they started having babies, yeah, those ones were sighted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually start looking for gold on the surface. Your indicator up there is milky quartz. So you just find a big pile of white rock and you drop your shaft straight down right next to it.
Is that how I was going to ask you?
Yeah.
So start vertically first.
Yep.
Okay.
But at first you want to go down about 200 feet. That's because if there's no other gold indicators, you're done.
Okay.
That's a prospect hole and you start a new one. But that fluorite that we were talking about, this is what you want to find. So this is your main indicator here. That purple vein right there.
Oh, yeah.
So once you find that, you know you found gold. They do go hand in hand. And once you find that, that's what you're going to keep right on chasing. So, kind of funny. You're looking for gold and you're chasing purple rocks down here.
Yeah.
Better know what you're looking for.
You do got to know what you're looking for sure.
So when did gold become worth looking for? Like when was it established as this is the currency or its worth, its value and all that?
You know, way before us, because if you think about it, a lot of it started in Egypt. Yeah. Because even though that wasn't their monetary currency, gold, whether it was jewelry or plates or whatever they made out of it, had a value more than anything else. It always seems like through time, no matter what, gold has some kind of value. And it doesn't even have to be like we look at it as bars. Yeah.
So the rock that's right behind you, is that a purple vein going through that?
Yeah. Now that color can vary because it can be dark, like that one's almost black, but then it can be light. So this one, I should have cleaned it off. I found this one this morning, but that's a lighter purple.
Oh, okay, yeah, it does look.
Oh, yeah.
You see it.
So it's
Yeah.
just different. The color changes. But what I've found is the darker, not quite the black, but the darker like that one up there,
Yeah.
tends to run with the higher grade ore.
So why are they not digging there then, since that looks like a good vein?
When mining went out here, everything was left, the equipment, everything. There's lots of gold in this whole district still.
That they're just not bothering to get, because
Yeah.
maybe it's not cost effective?
I think they, honestly, down here, they make more money off the tourists.
They get, they make more money out of
We don't make the money, but up there they
Somebody
do.
gets that money, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, so,
That's what's called it, following the green. The green to the goat.
yeah.
Yeah, follow the green.
Country roads take me home.